Now, as our tradition for the annual conference, we always have our honorary president, Mr. Ameerali, to share with us his wisdom and knowledge in the space of health and safety. So Mr. Ameerali is already on stage. Let's put our hands together and welcome Mr. Ameerali.
Thank you very much, Nicole. Wei Qian. Thinking of Nicole too much. The first thing I want to say is, I'm glad this is not a competition. Who is a better speaker? I sure lose to Mr. Ho Xiong Hin because he has been my mentor and my inspiration. And I'm very blessed that I was working with him in Ministry of Manpower. And he's not only well regarded, highly regarded and well known in Singapore, but across the region, not only the region, but across the world. Because he coined the phrase that want to make Singapore a renowned place for safety and health in the world. And that's why the minister believed in him and gave him the portfolio of giving lectures and talks and attending conferences and seminars all over the world. And he has done his job. So Mr. Ong Pak Shun, President of the National Safety Council of Singapore, our keynote speaker, Mr. Ho Xiong Hin, who has just had to go off because he got a very important meeting with the PERMSEC, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow participants. A very good morning to all of you. I'm not going to show any slides or anything, but just read my speech, which I had prepared earlier. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to this conference. Allow me to give my thanks to the organizing committee for this privilege to address you. The team led by Mr. Chandra Sekaran. Mr. Chandra, where are you? Has been working very hard behind the scenes in bringing you this conference. And judging by the excellent turnout, they have done an incredible job. So please join me again in showing how much we appreciate Chandra and his team. Again, before proceeding further, let me also once again give a special mention to my keynote speaker, Mr. Ho, who currently serves as the Senior Director, International Workplace Safety and Health at MOM. He was my boss. I was his boss before, but he was a high flyer and he became my boss. But he always says, I am his boss. And as far as I'm concerned, he is my boss and he has the right, he is the only person who has the right to order me around apart from my wife. So that's how much I respect him. About 20 years ago, when I was contemplating to retire early from MOM, Xiong Hin gave me some good advice. He said, it's important not to get stuck in your comfort zone. People who do that will be like the proverbial frog in the well. In other words, you only know your world is the well that you're stuck. You don't know there is a big wide world upstairs. So you live and die in the well. So he told me, don't get stuck in the well. Don't get stuck in MOM. Go out and see the wider world. And he encouraged me to take a leap of faith into the unknown. And he was confident that I will not regret it and advised me to burn my bridges. Burn my bridges means whether I land in the mud or whether I land in a good place, don't ask to come back to MOM. When you leave, leave for good. And don't worry. So I was thinking, oh, life is so comfortable, so cozy in MOM. I'm so happy, good salary. But I decided to take, and I had to ask myself one question. That what if I fall into the mud? What if I land on the mud instead of in a nice place? So I had to answer that question myself. And my answer was, if you land in the mud, focus only how to get out of the mud. Don't swim back. So that's what I didn't land in the mud. Thank you. In fact, I was very happy to burn my bridges with the ministry. But one thing I realized after 32 years with MOM, I could not disconnect myself from the field of safety and health. So upon leaving the ministry, I was fortunate to be the president, to take up the presidency of the National Safety Council of Singapore. That was in 2006. I'm therefore still focusing on safety and health and accident prevention. Only thing now, no salary, no remuneration. We do it out of belief and out of passion. Also, incidentally, MOM did not forget me. I was honored to be invited to the MOM 70th dinner reunion a few days ago, earlier this month. And during his speech, the minister, Mr. Tan Si Ling, quoted from Hotel California. He said, "You may check out anytime you like, but you may never leave. So both MOM and safety will always be an integral part of my life." Now, the theme of the seminar today is AI in action, smart and sustainable workplace safety and beyond. This is a relevant and timely topic as AI is now the biggest trending conversation of our times. Today, we gather at the intersection of innovation, responsibility, and transformation. As we step further into the era of intelligent technologies, we are witnessing how, as Mr. Ho Sung Hin earlier said, artificial intelligence is not only reshaping, but also redefining how we safeguard the most important asset in any workplace, that is our people. Workplace safety has long been a priority, but now we have the tools to take it beyond compliance into a realm of proactive, data-driven, and human-centered solution. From AI-powered hazard detection systems to predictive analytics that foresee risks before they arrive, we are moving towards workplaces that are not only smarter, but also fundamentally more sustainable and resilient. And at this point, before you all go to sleep, I have a confession to make. And that is the last two paragraphs that I read was from ChatGPT. I use AI to say what I'm going to say. So I have a confession to make, and perhaps, if we think about it, what Ho Sung Hin said earlier, AI is one of the greatest advantages, and they provide good advantages for us as safety professionals. But at the same time, the dangers of AI, it is also easy and so fast within a millisecond that it is scary. Honestly, it's scary. And I wonder about our future generations. Will it make them not apply themselves? Will this inhibit our creativity? Will over-reliance on AI lead to people outsourcing too much decision-making, eroding skills and critical thinking? It's difficult to distinguish these days what is original and what is simply cut and paste from other sources. Also, with the advent of fake news and even deep fakes, it is increasingly a challenge to distinguish what is reliable information and what is not reliable information, what is true and what is fake. In fact, you may have recently read that somebody made a deep fake video of Halimah Yacob attributing with her own voice and her own features some remarks she made about the government, which is not true, it's fake. And she had to come into the media and announce that that is not me. But how do you distinguish between the two? It's getting very complex. So let me, at this point, tear up my AI prepared speech, and in the interest of originality, just speak from my heart and my own experience. Many of you know that in my 32 years of career with MOM, I witnessed firsthand the terrible consequences of workplace accidents, including several industrial disasters that involved a high number of casualties. The foremost among these were the Spiros accident in 1978. Now that was 47 years ago. But the image of Spiros is still burned in my mind as though it just happened recently or just happened yesterday. I was rushed. My boss, Mr. Loh Wong Fook at the time, Amir, let's go. Jurong Shipyard, there's a tanker on fire. Let's go find out what it is. In the end, when I went there, I saw the bodies one by one removed from the tanker. They were all lying on the ground, and the total count was 69 workers on the floor dead and another 76 injured. When I witnessed this, it deepened my resolve to dedicate my life to working together with like-minded people like you, because we have to do it together and to do the very best to prevent the recurrence of such accidents. We have made a lot of progress since that, but as Mr. Ho Seong Hin said, there's no guarantees. There is no safety is an field and a career where there is no finishing line. You can't say we have arrived. We have to keep on doing things because new innovations are coming in, and each new innovation that comes in brings both advantages and dangers. So throughout our experience in Singapore, a lot of new things have came in. In fact, when TV came in, people thought, wow, great, we can watch TV, but the TV also presented dangers. And people thought that there'll be nobody who will want to watch radio anymore, will want to listen to radio anymore because there is TV. But that's not true. People still listening to radio. In fact, why this has happened? Because the radio people reinvented themselves. They changed their strategy so that they are still relevant. So again, what Ho Seong Hin said, and we have to remain relevant and we have to be alert and responsive whenever new things come up, because nothing new comes out without its own dangers. And it's sad because some of us become victims of this new innovation. Now, let me just give you an update of the latest. Oh, by the way, the thought just came to me when I was listening to Seong Hin. He said, we are now data-driven, there's a lot of data, but how you use the data is critical. Because the data then, just to prove that I was listening to him, the data then becomes information. And if you use the information is still nothing, you have to use it to generate knowledge. And from there, you apply yourself, you get intelligence. But I think he forgot one more area after intelligence, and that is wisdom. Wisdom is how you use your intelligence. Is it for enhancing society, working with people, or you use your intelligence to be a destructive force? Because if you think about it, even to have the World Trade Center that was in 2001, I think, the collapse of the World Trade Center in US, September 11, it took intelligence, it took strategy, it took planning, but the wisdom was not there. The idea was destroy rather than create. So let me give you a workplace, the latest workplace statistics. There were 43 industrial fatalities in 2024 last year, an increase from 36 in 2023. The fatal incident rate rose from 1.2 per 100,000 workers in 2024 to 0.99 in 2023. Now, when they said 2099, everybody celebrated because first time we went below 1. It's 0.99. But sometimes we celebrate too early because this year it was 1.2. And if you ask me, I think it's not about numbers, you know. I can go on. I can tell you that there were 587 major injuries reported in 2024, slightly fewer than 590 in 2023. There is only one truth I wish to state about these statistics. In fact, two. One is each and every accident did not just happen. They were inevitable. They were not inevitable. They were caused. And everything that has a cause can be prevented. It can you proactive. You can be proactive and prevent it. So don't ever believe that accidents will happen. Nothing can be done to prevent it. It can be prevented, and you must believe it. The ministry of talking lately about zero accident, zero. What's the word for it? Zero vision. Thank you. It's different from vision zero. No, not zero vision. Vision zero. That means we are not worried about accidents going up and down. Our belief, our mindset must be each and every accident can be prevented, and we will strive to achieve a day where there are no accidents, although it seems not possible now, but that must be something that we must not give up and continually strive. It is like our national pledge. It's not happening today, regardless of race, religion, and all that. But as Lee Kuan Yew say, it is an aspiration which must continue to work, and one day we will arrive at that. So this is the same for vision zero. Must keep that vision. If you say our target is this amount of accident, that means you are giving license to industry that, all right, you are allowed to kill up to so many people. No such thing, because if in your family, will you allow any one of that statistics to be a member of your family? Within your family, you want zero. For within your community, you want zero. And within Singapore also, we must aspire to have zero accidents. The statistics that I just mentioned earlier are cold numbers. Believe me, they are just cold numbers. And believe me, tomorrow you will forget. Or tonight you will forget the statistics that I had just mentioned. In fact, if I give you a paper, what statistics I mentioned, none of you will remember, because we don't really bother about the facts, the figures. But for each victim of the accident, they convey the hard truth. The cold statistics do not convey the hard truth. And the hard truth is that there is a lot of human suffering behind this accident. And this is what we are all in this room for. Not to improve statistics, but to avoid and to prevent human suffering. And believe me, in my time, I have seen a lot of human suffering. And I cannot gauge that. A mother was at the gate of a shipyard where there was an accident. As I was coming out, she was just asking about her son. Is my son all right? Is my son all right? I started crying. I didn't forget that. Then I couldn't answer her because I didn't know. That is really what occupational workplace safety is about. You know, preventing this kind of anguish, trauma, miserliness that happen to human beings. Because we forget, but they will never forget. This is something that they will remember for a long time, and the pain and anguish of family members and those who died will always be with them. Even Spyros, that happened 47 years ago, don't think it is over. Don't think a new chapter. We only talk about statistics in the last 3 or 4 years. What happened? Those people that lost their loved ones, children that lost their father, they are still suffering. The impact is on them also, because many of them lost a guiding hand in their life, a loving figure. And what is the real human cause of accidents? Some of them may have gone into drugs, may have gone into alternative lifestyles and all that. So the damage is continuing. It has not stopped. And it will go on for many, many decades, because life has taken a tangent for those people involved. And sometimes we hear about aeroplane crash. Just very interesting. Oh, how many people died, this and that. Tomorrow we forget. But if you, if one of your family members anywhere in the world was a victim of a air crash, from then on, every air crash for you will take a different meaning, because you will remember that when your loved one was in the air crash. If not, we are just, again, as I said, looking at coal accidents. So at the same time, we cannot limit ourselves to talking about workplace accidents. Nowadays, when we talk about workplace accidents, we only think of industry, accidents in industry. But I think as far as the National Safety Council is concerned, our charter is not just workplace accident. Our charter is accidents that happen in all areas of human living in Singapore, of life in Singapore. And I think that is something, as we go into the next level of commitment for our country, or for Singapore at least, we cannot do it alone. There are quite a number of institutions already in place, like Road Safety Council, Workplace Safety and Council, Water Safety Council. There is a difference between all these different institutions that look after safety. But there isn't one interconnectedness of all, because it's the same. The goal is the same. The goal is to prevent human suffering. And in that goal, we have to be all to be together. So thanks to the leadership of our President Ong Pak Shun, we are now going into an area where we feel that we can all work together. We can form a network of safety and health institutions, and we work together. We share knowledge, and we put out programs that the whole of Singapore can benefit. I think if you have been paying attention now with social media and all that, don't you get more and more sharing of accidents that happen in Singapore, traffic accidents? I know my nephew was a Grab driver or something. He keep on showing me photographs because he got a network. A lot of accidents are happening. People are dying. I'm sure it has not missed you that increasingly these days there are fires that are happening in apartments, HDB apartments, buildings. People are getting burned to death. Most recently, and these videos go viral very fast, right? So most recently, and very sadly, there was a 10-year-old girl who was burned to death or suffocated to death. Now, how do you measure that? Can you measure that in workman compensation? How much was paid in that? It's the rubbish, I'm telling you. You never measure that by money. Sometimes we read, no, this hurricane happened here, this fire happened in earthquake. The total cost of don't know how many billion. All that is nonsense. The figure that is given in terms of the number, the cost that is presented does not really give you any indication of the suffering that went on. Like the parents of that 10-year-old girl who tragically lost its life is a grim reminder of the devastating consequences of accident. And to her parents, they will never forget this. It will always be with them because this is a pain that doesn't diminish. So that is what we are all about, you know. And it's not simply charts and diagrams and statistics, but we really, and that's one thing I want to say at this point. There are certain professions like nursing, teaching, healthcare, field, therapists, that nobody in this occupation do it for money. They do it for passion. They are very passionate about their work. If you don't have passion and you don't have the desire to do your best for the students that are learning from you, don't become a teacher, please. Don't become a teacher so that you can earn money to buy groceries. You become a teacher with, you have a passion for nurturing the next generation of people. You become a nurse because you want to look after sick and healthy people. So now coming to the field of occupational safety and health, you want to be a safety professional, you also must have that passion. You must have empathy, like what I was talking about. If not, please find another job. If you want to make money, there are many jobs out there that you can make plenty of money. But certain professions like the one I mentioned, and I want to include safety and health profession, you must have the passion. And I know for safety officers, please don't be offended when I tell you this. Because I know there are CDU points, you know, by attending this session. Forget about this. This is just incidental. And please stay around and learn from people like Ho Chong Hin and other speakers that will be here today. Because it is about passion. You want to improve yourself, right? It's not like sneaking out. I already got my points, I sneak out. If in that case, again, you shouldn't be a true blue safety officer. You must have that empathy for people. So sometimes you play the system, we also can play the system. You until you stay up to the end, right? Then only you can get. To me, if you ask me sincerely, forget about it. You want to go back, you can go back. But reflect on why you are here. You are here actually to know, to learn, because things are changing and we must keep abreast of the innovations that are happening. And with what Ho Xiong, I was very inspired by him. What he says that things are changing and we must change also. In fact, what my former boss in MOM taught me was the manner in which we teach or train people is also changing. So changes in both sides. There was one very wonderful quote from Hercules, you know, which I read, that no man can step on the same river twice because it's not the same river. The river has changed. It's not the same river, and he is not the same man. So both the river and the man are changing. That's why you cannot never go back to what it was before. It has already changed. If you want to go back to the 60s, the way the government governed us in the 60s and the 70s during Lee Kuan Yew time cannot be applicable today. The age of social media, the age of high literacy in Singapore and all that, people are, you can see, this is a different river. And the men also are different. The government is a different government. They cannot operate in a different style. So changes are taking place everywhere. And also that I want to say we have to be more proactive rather than reactive. Reactive means something happened, we react. But what I think Chong Hin is telling us, we must proact, we must anticipate something that may happen and we are ready for it. Sometimes we get caught unawares, but the only thing we can do is learn from it and become better and move on. So the other thinking is, when I spoke about fires that happen and all that, do we just read it or do we feel something? Hey, we got to do something. So I tell you, I was affected by all the death that were happening on the roads, on fires in HDB apartments and all that. And I felt compelled enough to write to the forum page of the Straits Times, which was published. I say, you got to do more. It's not good enough. We are not where we are compared to other countries, you know. Basically, wake up, Paul. Then another realization came to me that you cannot live in a country just depend on the government to take care of you. We are all in it together. You know, we cannot bring out lasting improvements depending on the authorities to achieve this through what I always call stricter regulations, more and more inspectors, harsher penalties, fines. No, that will not bring out lasting change. In fact, in 2004 was a bad year for occupational safety and health. We had 4 major accidents. And the minister at that time felt, no, we need reform. We need safety to reform. We cannot keep on setting regulations and enforcing compliance. We must have the thinking. And he went all over the world to learn, not the minister himself. And he came back with the learning that if a person, if anyone who has created the problem must be responsible for solving the problem. That the government didn't create the problem. The problem industry created. So industry must take the lead in setting safety goals. So that was the year, I know I was in MOM at that time, I was asked to put up a paper on setting up an institution called the Workplace Safety and Health Council. That was almost 20 years ago. Today, the council is there. The council is not led by the government. The council is led by industry leaders like Abu Bakar and earlier than that, other strong industry leaders, leaders from industry, of course, government act as a secretariat to support, but leaders from union, leaders from the tertiary institution, professors and all that sat down in a committee called itself the council, and they set the goals, not the government set the goals. And they take responsibility. So this is what has happened. The council has been going on very strongly, and I give them a lot of credit for the difference that they have brought, you know. So this also came to my realization when I was in MOM. I realized that there are 3 kinds of employers, you know. The first category are those who just don't care, just pay lip service to safety. They want to earn as much money as possible, high profit regardless of what happens to their workers and all that. They don't have that kind of empathy or the leadership that is required to really look after their workers. So, well, for me, this, and I've seen quite a number of them, I would say are the third category, where you need the laws for them. You need stricter regulations for them. But I know that they will know how to bypass it. So they are not really, in my opinion, industrial leaders. The second category is those who, I want to improve. I care for my workers and all that, but we don't have knowledge. Like what Xiong Hen said, the second level, knowledge, and then intelligence, and then wisdom. So you don't have knowledge, we teach you. That means you're not a bad person, but you don't have knowledge. So we train safety officers, we train safety auditors, we train safety professionals who will be there to guide your industry to a higher safety performance. But the third category is my favorite. The third category of employers are those that don't worry about your law, don't worry about your regulations. Mine is stricter. In my petrochemical complex, it's one area in industry that one spark at the wrong place at the wrong time, the whole petrochemical plant can go into a conflagration. They know it. So they're not interested. They have their own level of compliance, very strict, and they are the ones, petrochemical, pharmaceutical, all that. When I was in charge of giving awards to companies that perform safety, I respected them. Because honestly, do you want people to teach you how to bring up your children? Shouldn't you self, have the pride to bring up how you want the values to ingrain your children? You don't want a third party, right, to tell you which school should they go to. So these people not interested. They have high standards. And then I thought about the second category. Who best to teach them? What are the best practices in the industry? The answer became obvious. The people who they should learn from are from the first category. The one who won the gold awards and the one who won the excellence award. So this is why when we have meetings, our National Safety Council, find out who got the excellence award. You don't want to listen to Ho Chong Hin or myself. We are not experts in industry. Don't you think it's better if I call experts from industry to share their knowledge, because they have proven results. They have introduced strategies and all that, and they have got gold. And excellence means you get gold 3 times in a row, you get a gold medal. So these are the people that we learn from. So today we talk less about laws and regulation and more about promoting a safety culture where everyone shares responsibility. The goal is to foster a strong safety mindset with a vision of zero accidents. A strong safety culture in a community. Now we are talking about community safety. We are not talking about workplace safety or industrial safety. Do we as a community walk around with our eyes open, also caring for other workers, other citizens? Not an easy thing to do, but we are trained to do that. We carry safety as a value, not as instruction for us. That means wherever we go, we are on the lookout for safety. I saw one woman with a child crossing at a road with it was red light. She can't cross, but she looked, oh, not enough cars. So she ran with her child to the other side. Nothing happened. But I thought, this is no good. I went and explained nicely to her. I said, ma'am, please, you're carrying a child. Next time, wait until there is a green light for your safety. I don't know how well she took it. She just nodded her head, thanked me, and walked on. But I know human beings, they don't like it. They don't like to be told how to suck eggs. But sometimes we have to do it. And in my own experience, not so long ago, I was getting out of my car. I didn't look backwards. Actually, I did look backwards. But one of the drainage workers who was nearby, he came to me and said, sir, next time you look backwards when you open your door. To tell you the truth, I was offended because the way he talked to me. Again, I wanted to tell him, Then after that, I quickly changed my mind. I got out of my car, I went to this worker and I shook his hands. I said, thank you. thank you because although you did not approach me in the right way, next time you can be more polite. Don't shout at me, but we need people like you who actually take the trouble to correct others. But of course, approach is important also. Like it doesn't. But I'll tell you something. I'm sure this is something you've heard from me before about the culture in Japan. You know, in Tokyo, I have been. Many of you have been, right? You know, their road crossings are so wide with all the big zebra crossings there. One thing you will notice, there are a big crowd just there. No one moves, no one runs across because they are disciplined. They learn this from young that it's not because maybe, of course, a lot to do with safety, but another it's to do with culture. It's too embarrassing for them to run across. It's not in their system at all to cut corners. And sometimes when a non-Japanese was there, maybe he's thinking he's still in Singapore or Malaysia or what, clear, he just runs across. You know what happens? It's not the mobile squad that catches you. It's not the policeman that stops you. But it's another citizen approaching you very nicely and telling you very politely, wait for the green light to come, then you can tolerate, okay, for your safety, you know. Can we reach that standard? You know, even when there were no cars inside, people stood. I think the difference may be we can reach that, but probably in 1 or 2 generations. And if we constantly drum that message that of safety, in cultures like Japan, they learn it from baby. Not only about safety, they look after each other. And even, I don't know whether you have noticed it, even international matches like World Cup, after the people all of the Japanese are picking up the litter, you know. So isn't it something to marvel at, the kind of a culture that they have? Of course, they are not perfect, but theirs is a deep-rooted habit, valuing order over convenience. I don't think there's any jaywalking there, not because of fear of fines, but because it's considered antisocial. And people often, they will say to themselves, if I do that, what if another child see me and copy me, and that child gets an accident, I'm to blame. So they have that level of consciousness to behave in a special way. So I'm coming to the end, don't worry. We at the National Safety Council of Singapore know that we have a long way to go before we can achieve this kind of strong safety culture. But we always have a start. We have to start somewhere. And under leadership of Ong Pak Shun, we have started, we have invited other safety institutions to join us. We are still in the formative stages, but I think things will be different as we go along. Important thing is to get along with each other and to respect each other. It's an uphill task. It cannot be achieved overnight, but we are determined to do your best. And in that regard, we need your help. We cannot do it alone. We need the help of each and every one of you in this room. We have to work together. Like what I said earlier, the passion must be there, the empathy must be there. Not about how high or how low your salary is. I'm telling you, your work has such value that there is no human yardstick to measure it. It has a lot of value. And I'm glad that there are people, you know, like you in Singapore, compared to others who just want to make more and more money. It's their right, you know, but imagine living in a country where you're on your own. Nobody bothers about you. Nobody respects you. So By adopting a multi-pronged approach that National Safety Council is trying to embark on, infrastructure improvement, technological innovations like IA, robust education initiatives, Singapore can significantly reduce or even bring to zero incidents of accidents in various settings. Collaborative efforts, so again, cannot depend on the government to solve all our problems. We have to work together. And I think yesterday, the government CD is what responded to me and a few others who wrote. I think the only reason for writing these letters is, hey, we are not sleeping, You got a job to do, you do it, but we are here to help you. Let's work together. We also have a role to play. So between and community, this is essential thinking in achieving a safer environment for all. Let me just end by saying this, that actually life is short. Even, believe me, even if you live 100 years old, even if you are 90, you just say, what happened to the time? Why so short? Very soon I'm going to go off of this world. My point is this, life is already short. Why do we want to make it shorter? We should, each and every one of us should have the privilege of, and we deserve to live the life that is allotted to us. A lifespan, our lifespan is 80, 83 years old, I'm not sure what it is. We should at least strive, why be cut short? Like that 10-year-old girl, what right? Somebody bungled somewhere to lose that 10-year-old girl. And imagine if a country is don't care about that, apathetic about that, indifferent towards that, things will just happen. Don't have the belief that accidents, as I said earlier, cannot be helped. They can be helped. They can be stopped. Each one, if you break up into a unit, things can happen for the better, and the result will be overall a very good safety performance. Let Malaysia, let other countries have their own way of doing things. This is the way. Let's follow the example of having a strong safety culture, working together. We believe that 1 plus 1 is not 2. Synergy, when we work together, 1 plus 1 can be 10, can be 20, can be anything. That is where we believe in the power of working together. So with that, I end my talk. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Ameerali, for sharing with us his wisdom and knowledge.